Captain Donn A. Weaver, U.S. Army retired, Cocoa Beach, Florida. Captain Donn Weaver stands as one of Florida's most accomplished and dedicated veteran advocates whose lifetime of service has left an incredible mark on his community, his state, and the nation. Rising from the private to captain in the United States Army, Weaver's military career included pivotal leadership roles in the 2nd Infantry Division, notably serving on the Korean Demilitarized DMZ, from 1969 to 1970. His commitment to public service extended far beyond active duty, encompassing a distinguished 28-year career in the U.S. Foreign Service Officer, where he served as 8 countries across Africa and Eastern Europe, and later as a subject matter expert and instructor for the Department of Defense. A Gold Star father, Weaver's life was forever changed when his youngest son, First Lieutenant Todd Weaver, was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2010. In the wake of the profound loss, Donn rebounded his efforts to honor the legacy of fallen and support veterans and their families, channeling his grief into tireless advocacy for leadership. Weaver's impact in the Brevard County is unparalleled. As a chairman of the Brevard County Veterans and vice president of the Veterans Memorial Center in Merritt Island, he has spearheaded transformative projects, including securing multi-million-dollar grants to expand and modernize the Veterans Center, developing new museums and memorials, launching innovative outreach and educational programs for veterans, students, and the wider community. His leadership has been instrumental in the creation of unique monuments, the expansion of veteran services, and the establishment of support networks for women veterans, homeless veterans, and Gold Star families. Beyond his organizational leadership, Weaver has personally presented hundreds of honor and remember flags for Gold Star families, coordinated major community events such as Stand Downs, Stand Up for homeless veterans, and guided the Veterans Historical Project, preserving the stories of over 260 veterans for future generations. His efforts have resulted in national and state recognition, including inducted into the 2023 Class of Florida Veterans Hall of Fame as President, Volunteer Service Award Gold Level, and numerous accolades from the Military Officers Association of America and other civic organizations. Fluent in 5 languages and a lifelong learner, Weaver holds degrees from UCLA, Florida State University, and is taught at university level. His legacy is one of visionary leadership, collaboration, and unwavering dedication to the welfare of veterans and their families. Through decades of selfless service, often in face of personal adversity, Captain Donn A. Weaver has truly become a force multiplier, ensuring that the sacrifices of American veterans are honored, their stories are preserved, and their needs championed for generations to come. Donn grew up in Brevard County and enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1968, serving as an infantry officer at the Korean DMZ and company commander of his old basic training unit in New Jersey. He and his wife of 55, Jean, were married in Cocoa Beach and always knew they would retire here. He served over 40 years in the federal government and on DOD contracts. Donn and Jean have 4 children, both boys becoming U.S. Army officers. Weaver served 18 years overseas in 9 countries as a Foreign Service Officer. Weaver is currently the Vice President of the countrywide Brevard Veterans Memorial Center and a life member of MOA, DAV, VFW, Army, OCS, and is active in many other veterans projects and organizations. He was introduced into Veterans Advocate Volunteer and supported Veterans Hall of Fame again in 2023. Please join me in welcoming, still continuing to serve veterans, Donn Weaver, Vice President of the Veterans Brevard Memorial.
The first thing I have to say is I did not write that introduction. Thank you, Mark. Second thing I have to say is it's dangerous to be here. As a last member of DAV, Chapter 123, they warned me that coming here could be dangerous to my health. They tried to recruit me as a member, but it was too late. I appreciate what DAV has done, and it's always hard to follow Rob Medina, but I'll do my best. Without veterans, there is no America. Whenever I talk to non-veterans, I often end up in my comments with this personal, non-political item. Since April 1775, when the first shots were fired, America was created, sustained, defended, and kept whole by the men and women willing to risk all to put service before self and country before personal wealth. With Memorial Day approaching, we must appreciate all our veterans throughout our 250-year history, especially those 1.2 million who died in direct combat with our enemies since the Revolution, and the millions more who died as a result of military service or suffered life-altering injuries while they served. Let's look at some astonishing numbers. When I did this research, I was amazed. These are the numbers of Americans who rose to the fight when our country needed them the most. World War II, 16 million Americans in uniform. Millions more working on the home front. Vietnam, 3.9 million Americans in uniform, with 2.6 million in country at least 1 week. Global war on terror in the first 5 years, an average of 1.6 million in uniform each year. Today, we have the lowest percentage of our population since World War I in military uniform. These are astounding to me, as we are the best prepared country in the world in terms of our military forces. The United States Army, 450,000. United States Marine Corps, 173,000. United States Navy, 332,000. United States Air Force, 316,000. The Space Force remains under 10,000. United States Coast Guard, 44.5 thousand, with 28,000 in the Coast Guard Auxiliary and as reservists. The total is less than 1.3 million. By the way, only Israel has a higher percentage of women in its active duty military than does the United States of America. 21% at the last tally that I saw. Now, our current population is at least 335 million. That means less than half of 1% of American citizens are on active duty any given one day. Less than half of 1%. The lowest in our history, at least since World War I. Yet, because they are the best trained, the best equipped, the best motivated volunteers in the world, we can defend and deter aggression to make sure that the America created in 1789 with our Constitution forever endures beyond the 250 years we have begun to celebrate. Why are our soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, guardians, and Coast Guardsmen and women better than any other country? Because they're like you. I believe volunteers are motivated and lifelong service. They have benefits, and now they have appreciation for their service. They've also been trained to lead when higher command falls. They know that America and their battle buddy are worth sacrificing for if need be. They know it means signing a blank check up to and including their lives is not just a slogan. Faith, family, finding direction in the turbulent later teens and 20s, early years, and so much more. Back to Memorial Day for a moment. As many of you know, my son, First Lieutenant Todd Weaver, killed in Afghanistan 9th of September 2010 in combat in Kandahar, Afghanistan, against the Taliban. He had fought in Iraq first in 2004 and 05 as an enlisted soldier. Made him a better officer. By the way, if you call me retired captain again, I'll never come back. That would make me the worst Army officer in the history of the Officers Academy School. So, if I was a Navy guy, that'd be good. But as a former captain, only 4 years in the military, I wanted to stay in. I loved the Army. But it was a Vietnam drawdown, and captains were reduction in force targets. We never got rid, but we went to graduate school to make sure. Anyway, When Donn was a senior in high school, 9/11 hit. He was determined to serve his country. When he graduated, he got into college, and then he dropped out of college, a perfectly good college. I told him to join ROTC, but he didn't listen to me. Dropped out of college, joined the National Guard to help with a hurricane in Virginia, and then went home to Iraq. He ended up graduating from college, Phi Beta Kappa from the College of William and Mary, because he had that service overseas. He was the ROTC commander, and then about 10 years later was inducted to the National ROTC Hall of Fame. When Todd came home, I'd like to say there was one thing that reminded me very much of what we did, many of us did not go through. When I came home from the Korean DMZ in 1970, the Vietnam era had tremendous impact on those of us, and you remember, and I hate to walk down that memory lane. We had to wear civilian clothes. I was spit upon. I was jumped by two guys, and they were sorry later. I was in much better shape than I am now. In a nightclub in Cocoa Beach. That's not happening these days. But I was amazed because I was the only one with short hair. The lady with the longest hair here, that was the average hair length of guys who had avoided Vietnam. So they knew me. When Todd came home from service in Iraq, he flew on a commercial airline in full uniform, 2005, and businessmen gave up their business class seats for 10 of Todd's soldiers in full uniform on a business class flight from Germany to the United States. Finally, this country, in my opinion, has separated the soldier from the war. It is not the soldier, whoever wants to go to war. It is the soldier who goes to war because of all the things we talked about. And it's the American citizens' responsibility to elect the kind of leaders that will use war as a last resort. I will parenthetically say that will make sure rules of engagement are appropriate for victory. Now, I want to close with some great news. Hot off the press. Well, actually, we've been working on it for 2 months. Tomorrow, at least 200 of the 500 young men and women graduating from high school this year along the Space Coast will attend an enlistment ceremony at the Vieira High School football stadium. 17:30, 5:30 is the be in the stands. I hope many of you come. And 6 o'clock is the ceremony starting. We will honor the decision made by those young men and women to join the military. How many of you had a community saluting your enlistment or your draft notice? None. So we're very proud that we've been working with the Brevard Public Schools, other veterans organizations to make this happen. Incidentally, this enlistment number of over 500 people in 3 counties is the highest in 12 years. 2 years ago, it was 109. Last year, it was 219. So, thank heavens, a new generation is coming forward who knows that there is no America, as I began, without veterans. And being a veteran starts somewhere. Delighted to report to you that they will all receive their first challenge coin. We had a special challenge coin minted enlistment ceremony of the Space Coast, and they'll receive that challenge coin. Of course, they won't receive another one for probably another year or so after they finish training. They'll also receive a congressional letter from Mike Aronoff's office saluting their service and thanking them for the same. There'll be a flyover, and there'll be fireworks. Can you imagine the difference when you join the military? What we're going to see here in Brevard County tomorrow night. Thank you. May God bless you and all our veterans and their magnificent families that stick by us, by you, and by them. Without those families, the veterans are not the people they should have become. I thank you very much. Great evening. I appreciate having been invited. I don't want to follow Rob Medina again. But the point is, you are a great group, and I will go back. I'll limp a little more, saying I was abused tonight when chapter 123 tomorrow morning. But I really appreciate you. Rodney, thank you.